Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today we are working on another fermentation recipe, and we are working on a recipe out of traditionally fermented foods by Shannon Stronger, and we're making the carrot clementine kvass. I have made beet kvass quite extensively. I used to make it a lot several years ago. I haven't made much really at all for a couple of years now, but I used to make it all the time and it was delicious and I loved it. And I came across this recipe. I had a bunch of extra carrots on hand, so I went and picked up a few of the clementines, and so we're gonna make this ferment. As you can see in the picture here, there's a lot more liquid than there is vegetable or fruit or whatever you want to call it. And so you really don't need to, you don't weigh it down because you really can't. So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna chop these up. Carrots in there. There we go. And clementines. And I wanted to double this recipe. I've never tried it, but I just didn't want these clementines to go to waste. So I figured I may as well just double the recipe. So let's just peel these. So now that we have all of the clementines peeled and divided up into our jar here, next it calls for 1/4 cup of sugar per time of the recipe. So we're gonna add 1/2 cup of sugar. You can omit this. And now that I'm actually thinking about it, I think we are gonna do a bit of an experiment, because I have 4 more clementines left and I have plenty of carrots. So I think I'm gonna do another version of this, but I'm gonna do it with the, in a quart-sized jar, and I'm gonna do it without any sugar. See if there's any difference in flavor. I'm sure there will be. I mean, 1/2 cup of sugar is a lot of sugar. So we're just gonna fill this up to about a 1/2 inch headspace, a little extra there. And take our spoon, and we're gonna kind of just stir it up a little bit. I'm not really sure why. All the sugar just floated to the bottom. Gosh darn it. Why didn't they tell me to dissolve it? There we go. Okay. I don't know if you have to like stir it up to get rid of the sugar, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so that should be good. Hold that thought. It says to cover it with a porous cloth or a coffee filter, and we're gonna go ahead and cover it with the ring on top of that. And then we're just gonna stick this one in the corner with the rest of our ferments, and we're gonna get started on the next one. Okay, so we have our quart jar, and now we're gonna cut the ends off, chop it up a little bit, nothing crazy. Carrots going. Peel our 3 clementines. That's perfect because this one is a little moldy. So now that we have the carrots in there, we have the clementines in there, now we're just going to top it off with water. Give it about 1 inch of headspace. Put a ring on top of that. That's about all there is to it. So I'm gonna take all of these peels, I'm gonna put them in a Ziploc in the freezer, and then at some point I'm gonna be ready to do something with these. I'm gonna make some kind of like an orange extract, or I might just add it to some vinegars and make some good cleaning vinegar. All sorts of different options that we can do with those. Don't throw those away. You can do all kinds of awesome stuff with those. And then with these, it says to just leave it and check it between, what is it, 3 and 6 days? Yeah, between 3 and 6 days, this should be ready. Once this is ready, we can consume it as is when it's ready. Or we can put it in airtight bottles and add a little bit more sugar to it and let it do a second ferment. And it's gonna get nice and bubbly, and it'll be like some kind of strange soda with carrots and clementines. I don't know what it's gonna taste like, but we're gonna find out, and I'll bring you back when we're ready for it. We were supposed to let the carrot clementine kvass ferment for about 3 to 6 days. It has been 8 days because I've just been super busy and haven't been able to deal with it. I've been kind of peeking at it and I have an idea there's going to be a little bit of mold on top, but nothing too super crazy, nothing that makes me want to throw it out. So we're going to just kind of clean it off. If this part of the process weirds you out and you don't like it, it makes you nervous, you know, you're hesitant to do anything with the fermenting or with the mold on top, don't use it. Simple as that. But I'm not uncomfortable with it, and so I'm just gonna, it's just a bit on top. It's nothing insane. So we're gonna get it off. And all of this stuff, I'm not gonna do anything with it anyways. So I'm just gonna go ahead. It is definitely fermented. It's fermented quite a bit actually. So I let it go just a little bit too long. So it's a little bit on the alcohol-y side, which totally can happen when you're fermenting with fruit. It can happen pretty easily, especially when you're fermenting with fruit and you add sugar to it. So I'm not super worried about it. I mean, I knew that was a pretty good chance. I mean, it's not like crazy alcohol by any means, but there's a little bit of it to it. And so like I said, when you're fermenting with fruit or sugar, it's a pretty real possibility. Likelihood even. So we're just gonna go ahead. We have these flip top bottles here, and I would expect we'll probably use 3, maybe 4. Let's go with 4. I'm guessing. It doesn't really matter if I'm wrong anyways. So all we're gonna do with everything that's in here is we're just gonna get it out with a slotted spoon. Because I really want to make sure to save as much of the liquid as I can. And if I had not let this go to a little bit too far, I probably would, honestly, I would reuse this. Not reuse, but I would probably consume the fruit that's in here. But I'm willing to drink it, but okay. So that is thick. Perfect. Okay. That is so thick. Wow. So now that we have the fruit strained out of this, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it through like a cheesecloth, a muslin cloth, something like that, just to get all the little particles and little pieces and chunks and things that are in here. And we're just gonna pour it into our flip top bottles. You don't have to have flip top bottles. You could do this into a mason jar. You're just gonna wanna make sure that you're burping it. Okay, so before we actually put this up, I'm gonna try just a little bit of it. Okay, that's like a tablespoon probably. That tastes really good. That's definitely worth the time. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add a teaspoon of sugar to each of these to make sure that it has the fuel that it needs to go ahead and do a second fermentation and get all nice and bubbly over the next couple of days. So now with this, now that we have the teaspoon of sugar in each one and we have them closed off, all we're gonna do with these now is I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put them back in this box that I have here. And we're gonna put it back in my fermentation corner, and we're just gonna let it go for a couple more days, build up some carbonation inside here, and I'll bring you back in a few days and we're gonna go ahead and do another taste test on this one. But in the meantime, after tasting that, I'm too curious not to actually try one of these. So I'm gonna taste one. Just see, I've never had a fermented orange before. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh, no. It just tastes like a flavorless orange. I don't know if you've ever experienced it where you like peel a nice orange and you think it's gonna be all nice and tasty, and then you open it and you taste it and it's really just dry and kind of flavorless. That's what that tastes like. Don't waste your time on that. It has been 1 week since we bottled the carrot Clementine Kvass. And now, since I let it go so long, I'm a little bit nervous to actually open this bottle. So we're gonna do it really carefully. And if I think it's gonna be too much, I'm gonna pop it in the fridge, and that should help to kind of tame the CO2 in there. But for now, we're gonna try opening this thing. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's not insane, but it's certainly, you can see, I mean, it's definitely going. Okay, so that just took a couple of minutes. Not a big deal. Okay. I have a feeling this is probably going to taste a lot better in the fridge, so, but we're still going to try it. That's good. Oh my gosh. I think I have my new favorite fermented drink here. At least for now. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna drink this whole bottle before I even wrap up this video. Okay, so the carrot Clementine Kvass, major win. Major win. Okay, so we started it on the 10th and we bottled it up on the 18th, and today is the 25th. So roughly, what was that? What is that? Did I start it on the 10th? I did. Okay. So yeah, it took about 15 days from start to finish. It is nice and bubbly and just delicious. Oh my goodness. This is, I really recommend that you guys try this. You saw what went into it. It was the carrots, the clementine, and some salt. And that was it. And we kind of sort of doubled the recipe, and it just turned out wonderfully. The recipe looked kind of weird at first. I almost didn't try it, but I'm so glad that I did. This is really, really delicious. It's got the effervescent, like a bubbly, but it's different than like the forced kind of bubbling of a lot of the different sodas and things out there. Like it feels so light and so bright and just, I mean, if a soda can taste light and bright, you know what I'm saying? It has an extra goodness to it because you know that this is good for you. Because yes, we added sugar to it, but that was basically just the fuel for the microbes to get going and to create all of the CO2 and all of the bubbles and everything that go into it. It was more fuel for the microbes than it is actual like flavoring for the drink. There is some left over, absolutely. I don't have a clue how to measure that, and nor do I have anything to be able to measure it with, but the way I can measure is the pH. So we're going to do that. Okay, so it's definitely not a 3.6, but not quite a 3.2. I say 3.4, maybe even, honestly, it might even be lower. It's hard to tell. It's got kind of a blue hint to it, but it's definitely not up at this level. It's a weird color. So it is definitely fermented. It is definitely below the 4.0 pH that we want to reach when we're making some ferments. So, yummy. You don't even have to refrigerate it. It's good just straight out of the bottle and straight at room temperature. So, I unfortunately only have 2 more of these bottles. So I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and go to the store and get some more carrots and some more clementines and make another batch of this. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope that you guys try this and let me know what you think of it. It is just delicious. And just as a reminder, I got it out of this book, Traditionally Fermented Foods by Shannon Stronger. And it is this carrot Clementine recipe. You can see here. If you're interested in checking out that book, I will go ahead and leave like an affiliate link down below where you can check it out. I really recommend it. It has beautiful, amazing photos in it, and it has just a lot of delicious fermenting recipes in it. A really great book. I hope that you guys try this recipe, and it is super simple, super easy, and super quick. You do not have to do the second ferment on this. You can drink it just straight without bottling it, but it won't be fizzy and it won't be bubbly. And you can also try, I think you can try fermenting it in like a mason jar for the second fermentation. You have to be a little bit more careful because it's not going to have the strength of holding in the CO2 as a flip top bottle would, so you're going to have to burp it. So that means it won't retain as much of the CO2. But you can also just go and get some of these. I got these at my local brew shop, and I got a dozen of them for 20 bucks. And you could probably find it cheaper. It comes with a flip top. It comes with the seals. You can get extra seals. They're super cheap to buy. You can get like 100 of these for like almost nothing. I'm not sure the exact price. I haven't bought it yet, but so I hope that you guys try this recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye.